All right, boys and girls, Semphis here. We got all my Nouns merch on. We got the flag behind me. We're going to be going over welcoming the CS female team that we just signed very recently, their proposal pass, so congratulations to them. I've always been a big fan of female CS. I'm going to be going over their proposal and where the money goes, and if I think it's enough, too much, if it's suitable, if the proposal was maybe on the high side, on the low side, because I've been around this industry for 15 years. I have friends on female teams all around the world. I've been playing professionally for 10 plus years, so I feel like I have a decent amount of information. And some of you guys that have voted on this, maybe you don't have a full idea of where the money's going, if it was necessary. I could totally understand, not fully understanding everything, so I'm going to try to clear some stuff up for you guys. But first off, we're going to quickly go over what is a noun, what is Nouns DAO, how do the proposals work. This isn't a full explanation. We're going to go very quickly. So every day, Nouns mints an NFT. So every day, you can bid on it. 2F, I believe, around there. It's like, $8,000, $9,000, somewhere around there. I'm Canadian, so my conversions might be a little bit off. So if you buy one, you get one vote. So every noun you get, if you win the bid, you get one vote. You buy two, you get 2 votes. You buy 3, you get 3 votes, right? So totally makes sense. Super, super easy math. So for me, I got gifted one noun, so that's awesome. Now I have voting rights. So for example, once I got my DAO, or my noun, I went here. You go to the nouns.camp, and over here you'll have all the proposals, the upcoming proposals, anything that passed. If you're interested in Dota, CS, anything like that, you can find out where the funding went, how much players are making, coaches, boot camp expenses, anything like that. So if you're just someone that's interested, go check that out. It's super cool. If you're someone that's not even part of esports, but you'd like to be, this is a cool way to kind of get involved. You get voting power, right? Like you could be the difference maker in having a prop pass or not. So for example, I'll just quickly go over this. So they recently had a ring here. So this person basically is trying to create a noun ring. And over here, we won't go over everything. Basically, it just shows you the funding. So, he adjusted 100K to 68K for the ring. And if you go down, he's got pictures of it. He got a little bit of a nouns ring there. Scroll down, it's got the box, everything comes in. So pretty detailed, right? So this one is a little bit back and forth, 11-4, 5 against. From my perspective, I haven't been, watching 24/7, but it seems like they pass with landslides or they lose with landslides a lot of the time. But in some cases, you get this where it's a little bit more on the fence. I voted yes on this just because I like the noggles. I like physical products. I think they're cool. People often ask me in real life, like, hey, what are those glasses from? They're kind of cool, right? And then I can explain to them what Nouns is. Most people think it's really cool. So anyways, if you want to go check that out, feel free. So, so every week I go through here and I just vote yes or no, or, some things I'm not going to lie, like I'll abstain or I won't even vote, like digital art exhibition. I don't know anything about art, so I feel bad voting yes or no, right? Like I don't know enough a lot of the time. So Nouns Female, they're in the Impact League. Basically, they created this proposal themselves. So if you want to check it out, I'm not going to read the whole thing for you. But like I said, you just go to nouns.camp, go to past proposals, and you'll find it very quickly. Just keyword in female, Control F. But yeah, basically we'll just kind of skip down. They're going to give their whole spiel of why, now should pick them up, their credentials and stuff. Here's their current roster. So right now they got, they got their hours in here, what kind of ice cream they like, their roles in here, right? And I mean, you can see they all have quite a bit of hours except for Takis. 4K, mint chocolate chip. It's not looking good for you. But the rest of you all doing a good job. No, I'm just kidding. But so they got their coach, they got their players, they got their little pictures, their ice cream, etc. So, now it's supposed to be a fun community, so they're definitely more interactive than the male team from what I've seen. You got their accomplishments, their wins and top placements. So, if they got first in anything, semifinals, they got all their accomplishments there, what their goals are, everything like that. So like I said, I've always had friends that are women that have been on different teams, and the thing that I think the most is the hardest for them is the same issues that kind of plague lower tier male players, where it's like you kind of have to pick at a certain point in your life if you're going to continue trying to be a pro or rise the ranks or go back to school or get a real job. Because realistically, you can't just put all your eggs in the CS basket and hope that one day you start making money, especially when you're younger. You don't want to waste your whole life doing that. So over here they have the budget. So I'm just going to go over this and try to be as unbiased as possible. So 5 player salary. So this would be each player, not including the coach. 2,000 USDC a month. So that's like $2,000 a month for each player. Just in my opinion, they probably could have. They probably would have accepted a little bit of less, just being honest. Like when we were on Gaming Gladiators, I believe the guys were getting like 1,500. But I will say, as a player and someone that's been in the industry for a long time, I think 2,000 is a fair value. I don't think Nouns is the type of organization that's trying to skimp on things. So I think 2K is about fair for a livable wage, even if you're living at home or you got a roommate. It makes it easier to travel to events because, you got to remember that some of these people might be trying really hard to go professional or get a lot better. And if you're competing versus other people that are being able to know life, just sit at home, play CS all day, making money, and you have to go to work, do school, do homework, it's very hard to catch up and excel, especially as women where you don't have as many, resources or players to pick from it for your team, right? It's a lot more of kind of like a niche than, Counter-Strike would be for men, for example. But that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother video in itself, right? So $2,000, I think it's pretty fair. I mean, it's I know some of the salaries that other girls teams are getting quite a bit more, but obviously they are better, no, just being objective. So in time they can scale that salary up. They're signed for 8 months, so after 8 months, if they've proven themselves, they can go back and ask for potentially a little bit more, which, I mean, obviously if they've climbed up, then you deserve a little bit more. If you kind of where you are, then maybe you don't deserve more. But yeah, I think 2,000 is about fair for anyone. And I just wanted to say for guys watching this, there's always these people that watch these type of videos or watch women's CS, and they get frustrated and they say like, oh, they're not as good as men, so they don't deserve a salary, they don't deserve this. Like, all I want to say is you're trying to promote another you're trying to incentivize women to want to play games and to get better, because there's not as many of them playing Valorant and CS and stuff as there are men, right? So you're trying to incentivize that a little bit. And on another note is that money, this $2,000, if this prop doesn't pass, doesn't go to you. It doesn't go to your open team or your main or advanced team, right? Like the money that goes towards women Counter-Strike teams isn't money that's being taken from men. So I don't really understand why people get so frustrated. It's like, I've had talks with people that worked at Intel, and they have a budget purely for women's Counter-Strike, like, or for women gaming in general, because they're trying to promote it, right? Like, if you get more women into gaming, you sell more video cards, you sell more gaming mice, right? It's a win for everyone. You have a higher chance of getting an e-girlfriend right there. Like, I don't understand why you guys are hating, right? Shouldn't you want more women watching, playing the game? Anyways, so they're going to coach salary, 16,000 USD. I mean, like, honestly, I don't know a whole lot. I mean, apparently he worked with EG and stuff. Sorry, man, I don't know every player in the game. So, yeah, I mean, obviously the coach has got to make some money. He's going to be there in practice all day. So, definitely, having a coach is super useful, especially if they know what they're doing. If he's worked with EG and he's been playing for a long time, he's definitely going to be able to help them get better. So, definitely worth the cost. Practice servers. Yeah, for 8 months, this is fairly reasonable. Like, servers can be, it depends on I don't know what server they're getting, if they're just doing the refrag or if they have their own like private server, stuff like that. I think they're probably just using refrag, but yeah, super useful, super necessary. It's really hard to always use other people's servers. You want your own server. Either you can go in and practice strats, be able to go over setups, practice grenades, that kind of stuff. So definitely something that when you're not making a lot of money, like 2,000 US, if you have to also pay for everything else out of pocket, then you're kind of like taking away from the salary. So I think these are just like standard operational costs for an org, a practice server. League fees, that's pretty typical. You always cover league fees as an organization. So I think like all of these are totally fair. The only thing that I get a little confused at, that I think is maybe a little high, is the content creation budget being 9,000 US. I mean, like, to me, I don't know everything they have planned, so it's hard for me to say if this is like way too much or not. It just seems a little high to me. Video editor for long term and short form content, 5,500. Like, if they're doing a lot of content, then sure. Like, but if they're doing like a video a month, then it's probably a little bit too much. Channel management strategies, blah blah blah. Um, like I said, I don't know how much value this is, to be honest, but maybe it'll work out. I do like the audience engagement and rounds where they are able to have some money to host some events, some giveaways, some stuff like that to kind of like connect with the community. I think that's cool. Probably like help other girls get more interested in the game. So for me, everything here is pretty good. The only thing I have a little bit of concern from is just the content creation budget. But like again, maybe if they went over it with me in exactly what it was, the breakdown, it would make more sense. But again, like this is just me just reading this basically. It just seems like a little much. But yeah, so anyways, I just kind of wanted to go over this video, make kind of like a nouns video. And I hope this kind of like helps people kind of like understand how we get funding, because I get asked a lot in my stream or by my friends or even other pro players that will ask me, managers will be like, how do you guys get your funding? So like this is kind of the way that it happens, right? Like we'll have the same kind of proposal for the men's team, for the Dota team, just with a little bit higher numbers and a little bit more stuff like boot camps and stuff where they're not really gonna be boot camping yet. I mean, if they raise their level a little bit, then obviously maybe they could get a boot camp or two in a year, which would definitely help them. But I think they're in the process of kind of proving that they're worth that, which is what you want. This is kind of like an introductory budget that's going to help them kind of like propel them to the next level, in my opinion. And yeah, I've always been a huge fan of women's CS, and I hope they all take it serious and they can kind of rise to a higher level, because I mean we want more people gaming, we want more people involved, and I just think it's better for everyone. And I just think all these fights about men versus women and stuff is just silly. Like I don't know. To me it just makes me laugh. It's just like, I don't know. There's nothing stopping them from playing in the men leagues. They just have a couple of their own women leagues. So if you don't like it, just don't watch it. But so maybe one day we'll see them be able to compete on the global stage. But for now, I think that they do need some help, and I think Nouns is doing the right thing here. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And thanks for watching. Peace.